Hi, Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Thanks for joining us today. We are here to bring Mike Beatty back to you, and I'm here with, I started to say Ryan Stanley. Where does that even come from?
What the heck?
Mike Stanley? Because I'm not used to calling him anything other than Stanley. But, well, Ryan Day, dear God.
That's a topic for another day.
If you watched another Mike Beatty podcast on our show here, we might be wearing the same outfits.
You had to point that out, didn't you? You just had to point that out.
Anywho, so today we're going to talk about, Mike Beatty is with Howard Hanna Mortgage Services.
Yes.
And unlike some lenders whose goal is to not approve the loan, finding reasons to not approve buyers to buy homes, Howard Hanna's main focus is to get its agents approved buyers. So they pretty much bend over backwards to get us what we need.
First and foremost, Howard Hanna is a real estate company.
Yeah.
And their goal is to close real estate transactions. So Howard Hanna Mortgage exists solely to help facilitate that for you guys. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Our underwriting department, in my opinion, after many, many years, I won't tell you how many exactly, in this business is some of the best that I've ever worked with. Our whole back staff, processing, underwriting, closing.
I have to agree. You're always, and well, here's the thing: is it starts with the pre-approval. Mm-hmm. You're not throwing pre-approvals out there like some lenders do, especially some of the big online lenders, just throwing pre-approvals
seeing
out,
seeing
what sticks. And you take that pre-approval. Some listing agents don't even like to see it for their sellers, so they'll say, I don't like that. But some, they might accept that offer, and then guess what? Person doesn't actually qualify for a loan. And that is what you're here to try to prevent, is you're trying to get good pre-approvals out and then get it through to your good underwriting department to get it to close. And that's what's appreciated.
I take pride in knowing that about 95+% of my pre-approvals actually can close. You know, some of them, there's some issues.
Screw up 5% of the time?
I didn't say it was me screwing up.
We just had a podcast about how a buyer can screw up a loan.
This is true.
So you're throwing that all on me.
This is true.
It's not always on me.
This is true.
But I don't like to throw things against the wall to see if it'll stick, because I got people's lives in the balance here. They're looking to buy a house,
we know
security.
Where you live and work.
Ooh, even worse.
Yes.
One of the nice things is I'm here in the office. One of the bad things is I'm here in the office.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't want to waste a buyer's time going out and seeing homes for weeks, months on end.
No, not at all.
And they have this expectation of this beautiful home that they're going to move into and live their life with their family. And the real estate agent that is spending all of their time taking them out, and then in the end, they don't actually qualify for anything.
Yeah,
and you prevent that. So.
Yeah, and you know what? It's integrity in your job, not just telling somebody what they want to hear. It's having to have those tough conversations when you have to have those tough conversations. But to a point in our previous podcast, not everybody who comes in for a pre-approval is ready.
Right.
So we want to get them ready. It's not a matter of just saying yes or no. I will always say, hey, it may not be a yes right now, but if you do this and you do this over the course of the next 6 months, maybe we can turn that not now into let's go. Let's go start looking at some homes.
Well, and part of getting them ready is looking over loan types and loan programs that you offer as well. And that's huge to get them started.
Oh, absolutely. And we're very fortunate with our company that we have a lot of really unique, great programs, not just for first-time home buyers, but really for any buyer. We have some very, very unique programs. And I'm happy to talk about a couple of those if you would like.
Sure. Why don't you give us one of your favorites?
Well, I'd say I've got a few favorites. I can't really dial it down to one, but I would say my very favorite program.
You're way too nerdy over Howard Hanna Mortgage, just so you know.
I'm a money guy.
You're a nerdy guy.
Aren't we real estate nerds?
This is true.
So I'm just fitting in. So you're basically telling me I'm one of you.
Basically, yes.
One of us.
Yeah, no, so a couple of our really cool specialty programs that I really like, the first one that comes to mind is our 15% down no PMI program. It's called 15 is the new 20. And it is for, okay, let me back up. How many people have you worked with that are saying or have said, I want to wait until I have 20% down before I buy a house. And the reason why they say that is to avoid paying private mortgage insurance.
Well, honestly, though, some people say that because that's what their parents tell them or grandparents tell them, and
that's
they don't
all they know.
That's not reality.
Correct.
So
we at Howard Hanna Mortgage, being nerdy again, we do have a specialty program that if you qualify for it, and I don't want to go into the nuances of qualifying, contact Shannon and Mike and they'll get you in contact with me. We can go through that. But there's no catch to it as long as you credit qualify and income to debt ratio qualify, and it's 15% down with no PMI. I love that program.
And that's
and a great rate as well.
And the rate is sometimes even lower than if you were to put 20% down.
Which is crazy.
Nuts.
So with you saying that, that's one of the things we always do is we're going to compare programs and say which one is going to be best for this client. But that's one of our specialty programs that I really like. We also have a program called Buy Before You Sell. For those people that aren't first-time home buyers and they maybe have a house to sell but are nervous to list it because they have nowhere to move.
Well, and sometimes people just like me have so much stuff that they really should get out of the house before it gets listed. Because even when I had a pod and I put a bunch of stuff in it, people said, "Are you sure that you can be out in 30 days? Because we have a lot of stuff."
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just better for the sale of your home to get all your stuff out and let that be sold as a vacant house.
Yeah, so we do have a program that allows people to buy their new home before they sell their current home. Again, there's some qualification to it, but it's another one of my favorites because it puts a lot of people's minds at ease.
It's one of my favorites.
It's huge. It makes, because no seller wants to take a home sale contingency
Correct.
From their buyer. And so it gives your buyer that you will be doing the Buy Before You Sell program for more strength coming into their offer. Also gives them a little bit of time to ease off of all these changes happening, moving, buying a new house,
and having to
selling
show
the
the house.
having to show the house when you're still living in
Correct.
it while you're trying to buy
Especially
another
if you
house.
have dogs or kids, it's just a pain.
And that's a big one is when they
It's a
have pets.
pain.
So that's another one of my favorite programs that we have. Between those two, I think those two alone kind of separate us from a lot of our competition.
They really do.
But we also do work with first-time home buyers as well. So we have grant programs that we work with through the state of Ohio. We have USDA loans if you have any buyers who are looking to move out.
Which is not just for beef. But it is a government loan, so it is the same name as beef.
Yeah, it's called the USDA Rural Housing Loan, and it's made for people who are looking to buy a home a little bit outside of the city, maybe on a couple of acres out in the country.
And the debt-to-income ratio can be a little bit higher on those, too, from what I remember. I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, you can't stretch it too much, but it can be a little higher. But, yeah, it's a zero-down loan. So there's literally no down payment requirement if the property qualifies. And that's what it's going to come down to more, as much as the buyer's qualification with these rural housing programs, the property address itself has to qualify. It has to be in a particular area.
But we're seeing more and more people wanting to move out to some of these areas. So
absolutely. So that's
because it's just cheaper to live further out.
Correct. And so, if the property and the client the buyer qualify for the USDA rural housing loan, that's one of my favorite loans as well.
Yeah,
just because I love to get people into a house with little to no money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
So those are probably my favorite loans that we have. But of course, we're a full service lender. We have everything. The VA, conventional, FHA, all those loan programs.
Well, thanks for being with us for another episode. And again, if you want to get a hold of Mike Beatty, you have to go through us first.
Yeah, we'd love to link you guys up so you guys can ask some more questions about these loan types. And
speaking of that, if you do go with us, Howard Hanna agents and a Howard Hanna lender, right now Howard Hanna has thrown another bone everybody's way to make it worth your while to partner with both of us. And that is a program that gets you a percentage off in closing costs.
Yes.
So you actually get a percentage back, which will translate into money for your closing costs. So
that's
awesome.
So before we go,
buy, borrow, bundle.
Yeah, I just want to kind of go into that.
I call it beg, borrow, steal.
I just want to go into that
stealing
because
it from Howard Hanna.
It's so we could almost do our own podcast on that alone. So basically, when Howard Hanna took a poll of I don't know what it was, 175 or 275 past clients, there was a common theme that everybody wanted a one-stop shop. The convenience of a one-stop shop made their home buying experience that much more pleasant, if you will. And so what Howard Hanna has done, not Howard Hanna Mortgage, but Howard Hanna has done, is that if you use our packages, you bundle your services and you use a Howard Hanna real estate agent and then you use a Howard Hanna mortgage representative, we will give you a 0.5% of the loan amount off in closing costs. Give you a real quick example. Let's just say it's a $200,000 loan amount. That's just a straight up $200,000 loan amount.
I don't even know where you'd find that house, but
I know. I'm doing it. Okay, say $400,000 loan amount. We'll say it's a $400,000 loan amount. Their client's going to get $2,000 off of their closing costs.
That's huge.
And there's no catch. It's not built into the rate. It's not.
You don't have to live there for 7 years.
You don't have any restrictions whatsoever.
And what does that get you? Guess what that gets you? That couch that you didn't pull credit for to buy during the transaction because you don't want to do that, you can now go out and buy yourself that couch after closing with that $2,000 you saved.
And you know what? When you're buying a
it's
house,
less money out of pocket.
When you're buying a house, money is tight. It's going to be for most people. So being able to save that money is real. That's real money that they're saving. And again, there's no catch other than just bundling our services, using Howard Hanna Real Estate and using Howard Hanna Mortgage Services for their financing. So really great program. And I'm happy to talk to anybody more about that in detail.
And another reason to reach out to us first.
Yes.
Anyhow, thanks for listening again. And make sure to like, follow, subscribe.
And hit that notification bell for Shannon at Shannon Grimm Realtor and at 614 Real Estate Nerds.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for being with us.
Yep.